average thinking person, like just average 19-year-old,
Yeah.
to get in I don't like reading, so I literally got on all these TED Talks and on YouTube, and I just started YouTubing videos about self-belief and what does it mean to be confident, and what does it mean to be a winner, and how do you become a winner. And I would watch hours and hours of Tony Robbins and Les Brown and TED Talks, and I like taught myself how to believe in myself and how to think that I was greater than just this kid that was a dropout who, you know, never really had great grades, never really was the starter, never was the captain of a team. I was just always kind of this average person, and overnight I taught myself that I could be great and change myself forever. And I'm forever grateful. I'm never going back. Yeah, I made it to the UFC after only 9 months of MMA training, so I mean, which is really unheard of.
Yeah.
You know, Kobe said, find something you love and do your absolute best at it. Give it everything you got. And I'm truly blessed to know what I love, and I feel like I was born to be a fighter. I genuinely love what I do. You owe it to the people who are maybe handicapped and who can't do it, you know. You owe it to the world to show them how great they can be by me just trying to be the best that I can be. You're actually living in your actual purpose at this moment. This was exactly what you're designed and born to be doing. This is your mark. I've been facing heavyweights for a long time, and I do really good against those guys. I'm surprisingly really strong, and I'm fast, and I just move well. My body mechanics move very well, so I think I can do things that they just don't do, and they just can't do. Francis Ngannou is scary, you know.
Yeah,
there's a big chance that he could break my jaw, and
Sure.
I'm okay with that. With Francis Ngannou, it's very simple. Get comfortable with the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is he knocks you the fuck out. He possibly fractures a bone in your face. That's the worst case scenario. You get real comfortable with that idea, and then it becomes easy. If he doesn't knock you out and break your face, you're smart, you're fast, you have a chin, you have great head movement. You know, you can wrestle. You can. There's a lot of ways things can play out. So I just think about the worst case scenario and get yourself mentally to a place where you're almost walking into that. Like, okay, I'm getting ready to go out there, and this guy could possibly hurt me tonight. Yeah, Francis Ngannou is dangerous, yes. I believe that he has a chance to knock me the fuck out. Let's say that out loud. But if I don't get knocked out, I believe I win that fight. I just gotta get through round 1, and I win that fight. I kept having these nightmares that I would get knocked out. And no matter how the fight played out, I would always get knocked out. And it was always within the first 30 seconds of the fight. So, you know, one scenario I'd run out, he'd run at me, swing a huge overhand right. The other, he would throw a right uppercut. And then another dream, it was a left hook. And I couldn't avoid this inevitable knockout that I was going to experience in the first round. And, you know, I'm a big fan of sports psychology, so I call those red zone thoughts, and I actually learned that from Rashad Evans. You know, when you have a negative thought, immediately cancel it with a positive thought. You know, instead of thinking of somebody beating your ass, you think of yourself exhausted, you're winning, fight's almost over. Sure. Just think something positive. And I just couldn't avoid these images and actual nightmares of Rampage Jackson knocking me out. So on fight night, I felt like I was going to get knocked out, and I felt like this was coming for me. I felt like energetically, like I was getting these signals from a higher power that, like, Jon, this is going to happen to you tonight. And I couldn't avoid it. So I just had this super deep prayer where I got down on my knees and I touched my body from my head to my toe for the first time. And I prayed this prayer asking God to just give me the supernatural, like, reaction abilities, speed, flexibility, awareness. And as I was praying this prayer and touching myself and rubbing myself and meaning every ounce of this, thinking my life is on the line, I noticed, looking at myself, that I was covered in feathers. I was covered in white feathers.
Like a hallucination?
It wasn't a hallucination, man. It was
Real as fuck to you.
It was very real to me. It was very real to me. I could see myself covered in like, there was like small feathers in between my fingers, and I was covered in feathers, and they came up like to my neck, and my face was still like normal, not in feathers, but my hands and feet were covered. And I felt like I was like this fighting thing that wasn't earthly, almost. And I like felt this surge of energy, power, flexibility, mental acuity and awareness and sharpness that I had never experienced before. And I like jumped off my knees and like landed on both feet immediately, and I was just like, woo! Woo! And I was just, Wendy's like, my coach was just looking at me like they could feel like, okay, he is pumped up. And Coach Jon Jones was like, let's hit. And immediately I kicked the pad, and it was like, boom. And it was like, whoa. And like my kicks were lightning fast, and I didn't need to stretch anymore. I didn't need to warm up my lungs anymore. My kicks were going up high. I was jumping higher. I was kicking faster and higher. It was an unbelievable experience, and I actually was able to hang on to this feeling and this illusion of myself being in this alter ego all the way through the cage, all the way through my walk to the cage. And I felt like in that Rampage Jackson fight, I walked into that fight as this Featherman for the first time, and my idea to crawl towards him was the only thing that had it happen in all my nightmares, right? Because in every fight I started on my feet. So something just said, get on your knees and crawl up to him. And then automatically the dream voids itself of him knocking you out immediately, right? So I did that, and I got to kind of, I don't know, fight in an alter ego kind of state, and it was super powerful. Now to this day, I say that same kind of prayer over myself, and I believe that I transform into something. I'm being used by my higher power to like
fuck shit up.
Pretty much.
Yeah, dude.
Pretty much.
Beautiful.
And I always just point it back to God, man. Honestly, man, it's God's grace. And I know everyone's not a believer, and a lot of people think, I wish you just wouldn't talk about God. But it really is God's grace. It really is, man. He has sustained me through so much, through the death of my mother, through facing a 4-year suspension, through just my dumb mistakes. He's probably protected me in ways that I don't even know he has. But really, I just pointed to God's grace, man. And I wear this tattoo on my chest, Philippians 4:13, that I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And I genuinely believe that I can do anything. And I'm not surprised that I'm still here. And I believe that I could possibly be here a decade from now. I believe I'll still be on top of the sport. I've always had a very strong conviction that I could be the greatest ever. And sure enough, it's just years of belief and hard work. We're here. The UFC will go on whether I fight or not. I got nothing to lose being in the position that I'm in right now. My goal is to get out while I'm still undefeated, but my goal is also to risk it all for my last fights.